Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Shane and I are back for Survivor 50, Episode 8, and we're here with three-time Survivor player, the winner of Season 2, the Australian Outback, Tina Wesson. Tina, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds.
Oh, thank you for having me. You're so sweet. Thank you
Yeah,
for.
Yeah. Well, you
yeah,
said 3 times, should have been 4 times.
yes.
I agree. Thank you so much, Shane.
Yeah,
So close.
I know. Because you were my first favorite player, because I watched way back
Oh,
when, and still one of my absolute favorite players.
oh, thank
Yeah.
you. You know what though? I don't think I'm a big enough character for season 50. Um, like you got Coach and Jonathan and Colby, all these people who their characters are so bigger than life.
Mm.
And I'm just me. Little me. I go to play the game. I
Yeah,
don't go to make a show.
right.
Yeah.
So, that's one thing that I didn't get until my third season playing. I was like, oh, this is a TV show, you know, because they were asking me to open up a little bit, but I keep my cards really close. I don't really trust producers and that whole thing, like if I ever found an idol, no one would ever know. I keep my cards close. So, it's not good to have a player like that on season 50. You got to have somebody that's really good to watch.
Right, right. Well, let's get into Survivor 50 with you, Tina. So, I guess right off the bat, I mean, what have your thoughts been on this season? We're about midway through. I know, I'm sure we want to talk about Colby, your thoughts on how Colby did this season. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, first of all, of course, I go in wanting my man to win,
Yeah.
rooting for my guy. Uh, so glad he got to have this experience. If he had to go out, I'm glad he went out the way he did. I talked to him on the day that he was actually going to get voted out.
Mhm.
And I really wish they had showed because he had punctured his foot
Yep.
and got infected and got a staph infection in there. And he was still dealing with it 2 weeks ago. So I wish that they had shown that to show the degree of infection that he had because I thought that would be interesting. Um, but anyway, and then my second surprise is how much I have fallen in love with Christian.
Mm.
Yes.
I I don't know what it is about him this season. It is if it's his vulnerability or I love how he had a moment there whenever he was talking to Mike White, and then he had this kind of little weepy section, because that is what Survivor does. I mean, it gets into your being and into your psyche thing. And like he said, it's been 7 years and this thought and feeling has not manifested until Mike White brought it out in him. But then I love how he was able to turn it around and go like, oh, wait a minute. I see what's happening here and turned it around. From that moment on, I have been like, go Christian. I am
Yeah.
100% Christian now.
Yeah, Christian's been super fun to watch. And like for my thoughts on Colby, like I used to be like the biggest Colby fan in your original season. Like I thought he was just amazing. And so just to kind of see me here, I feel like he enjoyed himself more than the last two times. And I feel like this was his second best game after Australia. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I,
And
I think they didn't show enough of him though, because clearly he was in such a good spot. If Cirie is like we're between Coach and Colby, but Colby's the head of the snake, let's go for him.
right.
I wish we saw more of him.
I do too, but I think because of how this season is set up with all these players, that they have to show the tribe that's going to tribal council. They have to just spend so much time focusing on them that it's not giving the other players an opportunity to really see what's going on.
Yeah.
Mm.
True, true. Well, let's get into the specifics of what happened this episode. So we get back from Tribal, and we have Chrissy and Coach. Coach is going to receive a gag order from Chrissy to basically stop talking, which is really, really funny. Like we see throughout this episode, we're just gonna have Coach laying in the hammock, just trying not to say anything to people. I mean, would you have told Coach to stop talking, Tina, or
I
like?
would have, because that's what I had to do with Monica in Blood versus Water. Not knowing that she was in this secret alliance, I felt like she kept jeopardizing my game.
Yeah.
Because she kind of had a little loud voice. And so she would come and want to talk to me, which anytime you see two people talking, you're taking note. You know, what are they talking about? Are they talking about me? Are they coming up with a new plan? So I just wanted her to like, shh, and leave me alone. So I definitely would have gone over to Coach and said something. So Chrissy was in the right. I'm just shocked that Coach listened to what she had to say.
Yeah.
Shane, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Coach actually listening to Chrissy speaks volumes to like his evolution of his social game from back in Token Teens when watching him, I'm like, this guy, I hate him, like do not want to see him. And then South Pacific, I'm like upset that he didn't win. And now here I was happy to see him back and just socially, I think this might have been his best game of his four. And like that moment with Chrissy shows like the awareness he has, but also in the same sense, there's some lack of awareness with kind of acting crazy on the island with the haikus and all of that.
Yes, I think that's where character can damage you. You know, people who go in knowing that they're a character and like there's a responsibility to live up to this character. And so I think he just kind of, like you say, kind of took it too far. You know, whereas if you're going out there and being yourself, which maybe this is who Coach is in real life. I don't know. I haven't met him, but it would be interesting if that was him 24/7. Surely you can't be like that 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So it's much easier if you're going in there just being yourself and not having to put on a show.
Yeah, I think preseason, like Coach seemed to be a lot more reflective. Like I feel like he wasn't like leaning as hard into the character, like he was showing his more human side. I mean now he's a dad as well, so like that completely changed his mentality going into this season, I feel like.
Yeah. Can you imagine being Coach's son?
I cannot.
That would be a trip.
I would love to interview his son.
How old is he? Do you know?
No idea.
I feel like high school age, maybe.
Yeah.
No, you should. That would be epic.
That'd
Yeah,
be funny.
Yes.
we really should.
We have talked to Coach a little bit about coming on once the season is over. So that is something, I don't know, maybe we can get him to come on with his son.
Yeah.
You know what? If I've got his contact info, let me look. I will highly suggest that.
Yes.
I don't know if I've got his
That
contact.
would be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be so funny. But yeah, so let's jump into this twist this week, Tina. So this is the first time US Survivor has done this twist, the Tied Destinies Twist. So everybody is going to get paired up with a partner, except we're going to find out Cirie is going to be the one person who will go to Exile Island. But we get our 6 pairs, and 2 people are going to be safe, and they will then vote out one pair of people. So if you vote out one, the other person gets dragged out with them. So we have our pairs of Joe and Tiffany, Christian and Jonathan, Rick Devins and Aubrey, Riz God and Emily, Coach and Chrissy, and Ozzy and Stephanie. I mean, what are your thoughts on this twist, Tina, and the pairs here?
Yeah, I wish they had shown more about how they teamed up. You know, I know that they said, you know, okay, well, let's do it the mature way and just talk about it or whatever. Because Stephanie was with Ozzy,
Yes.
which I think was a strong bond, you know. Because I remember in Australia we had to do that.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody on my tribe wanted Colby. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not fair. You know, okay, I'll take Colby. Well, of course you will, you know. So we ended up, I don't know what we did. We drew straws or picked numbers or something, because that would be the only fair way to do it. So I don't know how Stephanie ended up with Ozzy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I remember in your season, Tina, like I think Jerry was the one who was like really wanting to be with Colby, and then I think you did draw straws or something, and she ended up with Colby anyway. So
I know, right? And he dropped her over the wall. I thought,
yes.
oh Lord.
Yeah. Shane, your thoughts on this twist?
Yeah, I with this twist, it's interesting because like I know they've done it on an international season. I haven't watched it. I've seen it in like online games because I do some of those as production. And to me, it feels like it's some kind of twist that's good for an online game where there's no stakes, but when there's $1 million, maybe less so. But what I would have suggested to make it better is when they paired up, I wish they knew what they were pairing up for so they could strategize around that because it seems like they just thought it was going to be a reward challenge.
Yeah.
Since in Survivor 48, which was the last one they saw, they did that. So I wish they knew that it was going to be a pair going to the vote. And I would have been interesting to see how that dynamic went. But I like understand why production didn't tell them because they wanted the big reveal at the challenge for the TV stuff. But
Mhm.
I just prefer when the players are able to strategize around the twists and know all the information.
Yeah. But then if they did that, then like if you, I think you kind of know, even before going to tribal council, who's on the bottom or who's at risk. So if, let's say, coach was at risk, then nobody would want to team up with coach.
Right.
I'm not teaming up with him, So he would have an idea that he might be going.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because I definitely think Coach paired up with Chrissy thinking that like you should pair up with your alliance, and I feel like not necessarily because then like both of you are gonna go out there, but I don't know. It's an interesting thing, and so I think it could go either way. I probably would lean towards what Shane said, that they should be able to plan around it more.
And I feel sorry for Chrissy too, because who knows how long she could have lasted in the game. I tell
Right.
you what, I've always said that there's a big element of luck that goes
Yeah.
into winning Survivor. And on the opposite of that, there is some bad luck things that happen. So there just needs to be a bad luck Survivor where people who bad luck. Okay, there needs to be one with evacuations, people who have been evacuated or
Right.
for some reason, and then there needs to be one where you had to draw rocks, like my daughter Katie, and she had to
Yeah.
draw rocks, and she was pretty far into the game. So it would be great to have a season of just bad luck people.
Mm.
Yeah, unfortunately, luck plays such a huge factor, like in so many facets of this game.
I know.
So, yeah, so we get the reward and immunity challenge with these pairs. So it's a giant obstacle course. Tiffany and Joe win immunity. I thought it was going to be Devins and Aubrey. So, Shane and I were actually at a Boston watch party. I don't know how many watch parties you've been to, Tina, but
And one.
here. One. Okay. Yeah. So it was super exciting. It was my first one. And so like and Aubrey was there. So we got to meet Aubrey. And so like everybody was cheering for Aubrey and Devins at this watch party.
Yeah,
And so I really thought it was going to be Aubrey and Devins that won this challenge. And when Joe and Tiffany won, I was like, oh, this is really interesting now.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. And how great too that Aubrey and Devins you did as well as they did. I was
Mhm.
surprised.
Yeah. They did really well. Shane?
Yeah. But yeah, I think like the pairings of like Coach and Chrissy and Aubrey and Devins were probably the targets because both those pairs came from like the same alliance.
Yes.
So it's like you get like kind of I think it was Cirie who said it, it's like two for the price of one. So why not go for one of those pairs?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I think it made sense to go for either one. Um, all right, so let's get to Exile Island because this is Cirie's moment. Her first season was Exile Island, and now she finally gets to go. And this is where there's a bunch of coconuts all over the beach, and she has to randomly find the coconut that allows her to return to camp and vote. And she has like this big emotional moment. She talks about her survivor journey across 5 seasons of US Survivor. and just like breaks down, and she does find the coconut to return to camp. I mean, Tina, what are your thoughts on Cirie's journey through Survivor?
I've got mixed feelings actually. Um, it always seems that Cirie has a moment like this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just is manifested.
Hmm.
This poor girl has to overcome some kind of challenge that she is so hard for her.
Right.
You know? But it just always seems to happen, which I think is just going to be her legacy. This is just going to be her legacy. There's a person who maybe isn't athletic or strong, but she continues to go out and put herself into these situations, because I think that's where Cirie gets all the respect that she gets, is that she knows she's not survivor material as far as the challenges are concerned,
Right.
but she has a great social game and she has a great mental game. So you can win Survivor, and you can have a great game and be a very popular person just by being the type of person who goes out there and gives it their all and does something that's beyond their capability, so they thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane, your thoughts on Cirie?
Yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of what you said, Tina. Like, she is kind of so revered because of her social game and her strategic game. And for me, those are things that I value a lot, is like the strategy and the mental side of things. But I also appreciate like people who are good at all facets of the game. And Cirie definitely, I think even Cirie would agree, is lacking on the physical side. But at least from watching her on, I don't know if you watched the Australia versus the World season she played, but I thought she came a long way physically, because their challenges are hard.
Mhm.
Like way harder than what's Jeff's doing right now. And like she was holding her own. So I was impressed with that at least like she's making progress and like growing as a player.
Yes. I don't know. I think maybe that's why she gets, because I know that she gets criticism for maybe not being the strongest physical person out there. But by golly, she sure does a good job for not being the most physical person out there, doesn't she?
Yeah. She manages to make it through every single time. I mean, the one time she goes early is Heroes versus Villains, and it's because she gets idled out by Tom and Colby. So like she just is so good at this game. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for her as a Survivor player. So
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Um, because if you're not a physical person, you really let your tribe down in
yeah.
challenge. I mean, it's a big deal. So, do you think people who aren't as physical should go out for Survivor?
I think it makes it interesting because I guess like as opposed to having a bunch of like physical beasts play like the challenges, I like it is fun to watch them, but also like it makes it unique to have someone that's completely out of their element play. And so I as someone that probably would be out of their element on Survivor, I think it makes it so much more interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, the thing that I love about Survivor is like going back to the day one premise where they're like, we're bringing together people from different walks of life and together. So I don't want to see like all, like physical people. I really want that mix. But also, I mean, if you can't even like remotely do a challenge, maybe this isn't the best place for you. You have to like be able to do it, whether you're good or not. Okay. That's fine, but like at least being able to do it. But yeah, I just like having all these different types of people together. But maybe, if they're gonna bring a whole tribe of people that can't do challenges, maybe that's overkill.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's another thing that I've loved. Like even Aubrey had a moment in her first season that she played. And Cirie, I love how it has transformed so many people's lives.
Yeah.
Those of us who love the physical challenges, we miss that. You know, I mean, that's something that we don't get out of Survivor. We're just out there loving these challenges. They're fun for us, you know. But for people who didn't ever think that they could do something like this, I just love how it transforms them. It's such a great opportunity that, you know, lots of times in life you're not giving that chance. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is something that, like, I'm someone that I do not want to go out there, mostly because, like, I don't care about like the TV stuff. I just want to like play the strategic game. But the thing that would be, you know, appealing is I'm afraid of some of the challenges, but being able to push yourself and say, like, can I live outside? Can I do this? Like, that is appealing, which would make me want to do it. And kind of what you were saying, like, it's really testing yourself to do something out of your comfort zone where you often don't get these opportunities. I just don't want to do it because I don't want to deal with, you know, the implications of the TV stuff and backlash. Like, I just want to be like in a vacuum doing it.
Yeah. Do it by yourself. We'll just stick you on Exile Island.
Yeah,
From the
with no
get-go.
cameras. All the cameramen can go to Coach. Like, if you put him
Oh,
on the
yeah,
season I'm on, they'll be with
exactly.
him.
I know, right? It is awkward, let me tell you.
Yeah, didn't Coach say in his exit press, like I saw on RHAP, like Coach was saying how he had like 3 cameramen on him at one time.
Yeah.
And he probably loved every minute of it.
Yeah. Because, yeah, that was something when we met Aubrey the other day, it was interesting because she was like, yeah, with Coach, like, you wondered out there, was he really losing it at times? And she said they don't really show enough of that on screen. Like, it looks like he's a character. But she was like, we were wondering if he was really losing it.
Well, I can see why she would say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, he's singing on his way to Tribal, which I'm sure we'll get to. But it was one of my favorite moments watching it at the watch party. I'm just like, this is crazy.
Love his heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get back to camp, the scramble. We have Ozzy ready to Dragon Slay Coach, which is amazing for their storyline. We've gotten like this whole like story arc this season calling back to when they played South Pacific together. And so like we're finally getting like the build up and like the climax to that storyline. And we're gonna get Chrissy's gonna gun for Rizzo. I didn't she say like Rizzo hasn't really done much, so she's targeting Rizzo for that. I was like, okay.
I think he got that in his other season too, didn't they
Yeah.
say something about him not being all that helpful?
Right. Yeah, I believe they did. So. But yeah, so we're gonna get Coach singing on his way to Tribal. We also get Coach quoting Magellan, which we heard in the trailer before the season. So we get that moment at Tribal Council. But of course, the biggest moment of this Tribal Council is that Rick Devens knows that him and Aubrey might be on the chopping block. So he pulls out the fake idol that him and Christian hid earlier in the season. I mean, Tina, what are your thoughts on this move? Because it is a crazy move, and like my parents were watching at the same time, and they messaged me. They're like, the Rick Devens might have just made one of the best moves that they'd ever seen. So
Agreed. It's so brilliant, and this is why I'm like, this is why I'm not on Survivor 50. I would never think to do that.
yeah,
I probably couldn't pull it off. You know, I mean, these are players. These are people who came to play the game, and they've got things up their sleeve that I would never even dream of. So I appreciate so much the entertainment value that season 50 is bringing to its viewers. I think it has not disappointed at all.
Yeah, I completely agree. Shane, your thoughts on this moment?
Yeah, I liked it too. Although it's interesting to come on the heels of like in Winners at War, Adam Klein trying to find the idol that he thought was at Tribal. And then I know after that, Jeff had been like, oh, we'll never hide it at Tribal because like we don't want them to destroy the set. So I'm wondering if anyone was thinking about like the meta of it all and being like, this has to be fake because Jeff said we would never hide an idol at Tribal. And I know like they showed clips of the whispering going on where Stephanie's like, it's not real. Like she kind of insisted it's not real. But it also, from at least what the edit showed, it does seem like that play did sway votes. So it is a very interesting move.
Yes. And I love that the big moves that people are playing and doing, the players are smart enough, or some are, to be onto it. You know, I mean, nothing is getting sold to everybody. When somebody's doing something, there's somebody who's smart enough to figure out, wait just a minute here. You know? So again, that's what is making this season so great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm agreeing. Like I just think this was such a good move, regardless if they weren't actually going. It solidifies that they're definitely not going now. So I still think Chris and Coach are probably gone, but we also get Aubrey quoting War Dog from her season, so I thought that was really funny. Didn't expect that. But yeah, we get to the vote. We have Coach playing his shot in the dark. We had at the watch party, we had everybody chanting like "not safe, not safe" because I think people just wanted Coach to get voted out.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, poor Coach.
So yeah, he plays the shot in the dark, doesn't work, and Coach and Chrissy are voted out 10 to 1 to 1. I do think Chrissy makes it a little bit farther if this doesn't happen. I do think Coach was the primary target, but I don't know how much farther Chrissy would have made it. It's hard to say, but I do think like unfortunately this twist does like shorten her game.
Yes, yes. And I'm curious too, like when you said everybody was chanting, not safe, not safe. I bet Jeff was going, safe, safe,
Oh, 100%.
you know, because he's got a show to run here. So,
Yeah.
he's definitely providing the entertainment for this season.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because even when they both get voted out, he's like, Chrissy, you're first, because he wanted Coach to have like the closing moment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So Chrissy goes first, gets her torch snuffed. Coach gets his torch snuffed and has the big Coach moment. So I mean, sadly, we're probably never gonna see Coach again. This is like the end of his story, and like I think that there's been a lot of people that have been like sort of like Coach, them trying to recapture that character, but there's never gonna be anybody that's exactly Coach.
Yeah.
No, Coach has even said that there's nobody like me, and
Right.
there's not.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so I have a fan question for you, Tina, from our friend Drew. So early on in the season, we saw Jenna Lewis pushing Cirie, and just like she did with you in All Stars. What were your thoughts on that? Like, did you see the similarities? And like, obviously, Jenna does go out first because she does that to Cirie. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Karma. That's what I would have been chanting if I was in Boston.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it made me a little happy.
Yeah.
Might have done my happy dance first episode.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's do favorite player of the episode. So Tina, who was your favorite player of this episode?
Oh my goodness. I think Devins.
Yeah.
Because I think that was just a fantastic move. And did you see everybody's faces?
Yes.
I mean, they were just like shocked. And I think that was just classic.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Shane?
I always have trouble with this season because I like so many of them, which is a good thing. I'm gonna go to be different. I'll go Cirie because of how she, at least from what the edit showed, she really led this vote. And it's just the masterclass social game and strategic game that I really respect. So I like that. So Cirie this episode.
Yeah. I'll follow Tina and go Rick Devens. Just like that fake idol play was just so good. And I haven't given enough credit, I don't think, to Rick Devens this entire season, but I wanted to because I was so excited to see him back. Because I figured it was a long time coming from 38 to now. So,
And
yeah,
I think he's playing harder than he's ever played, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he is playing hard.
Yeah. That's the great thing about Devins is I feel like he's never going to play like quietly. So,
No, true.
last thing for us, Tina. So, what are your predictions for week 9? It looks like Jeff is competing in a challenge for the first time. I wonder what your thoughts on that because we've never seen him do that. He's got to dig deep. And then it also looks like everybody is not trusting Emily and Christian. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen next week?
Well, it's really irrelevant because I've never gotten it right once. So
Yeah.
I could say somebody, and then for sure they'd be safe. So I'll go Cirie because I know she'll be safe. How
Yeah.
about I don't know, but I'm so excited about, like you say, Jeff participating.
Mhm.
He is like reinventing himself for 50, isn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
rapping, doing the challenge. I mean, he is rapping not so well, may I add, but you know, hey, he's doing something he's never done.
Yeah.
And probably better than I could do. But anyway, this might be one of my favorite seasons. For some reason, I loved white collar, blue collar, no collar.
Mhm.
I don't know why, I just did. But this season, I am just loving every second of it.
Yeah. It's been really good so far. And yeah, like white collar, blue collar, no collar. Like you said, Mike Holloway was a great winner too. So
Love him.
yeah.
And you know what? I'm so disappointed too because I'm leaving next week to go to New Zealand for a month.
Oh.
So I'm not going to get to watch.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
I know. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to go to the finale and not even know what's happened.
Oh no.
I know.
Well, Shane, what are your predictions?
So I wonder because I've seen press that says like Jimmy Fallon basically like made a bet with Jeff about competing in a challenge or something. And we know from the trailer way back when that Christian makes the comment that like Jimmy Fallon will affect his game.
Mhm.
So I wonder how that's going to come into play if there's some twist here. But I also wonder if Jeff's competing, like if he wins immunity, does he gift it to someone? Because
Oh my
he's going to go
God.
to Devins probably.
That would be so great.
Because that could explain why Christian and Emily are in trouble. Because like they're a threesome, but if Devins has immunity, or if they think Devins is the idol, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's an interesting twist. If Jeff just gets to give, it's like, I mean, if Boston Rob was there, Jeff would
100%.
in a heartbeat just hand it to Boston Rob.
He might still give it to Boston Robbie.
I know. True that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun to watch Jeff compete. I think based on the preview that yeah, we're gonna see Christian or Emily in trouble. So I think Emily's like shenanigans, her messiness could get her voted out this week. So
yeah, Tiffany made that comment in the trailer about her flip-flopping.
Are you all loving it? Are you all loving this season?
Oh yeah.
It's been really
this is
fun.
the best Survivor's been since at least Winners at War. So I love that. I love seeing the mix of characters. And even then, like at this point, it's probably at least a top 10 season for me. Because like my top 3 are never going to change. I don't think it's Heroes and Villains, Micronesia, and Blood versus Water.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
I have Heroes versus Villains, Kagion, and I think David versus Goliath. So that's probably my top 3. But this is definitely going to go in the top 10 as well. I mean, it's what we've been waiting for 5 or 6 years to get another returning player season. So
yeah, I think it really also depends, at least for me, like on how it ends, because like the winner kind of defines it too, and getting a really strong winner. Which at this point, I mean, everyone is pretty strong at this point. Like, I think any of them could win. I mean, maybe not Joe based on how they've shown him in the edit, especially way back when, like episode 2 or 3, when him and Devins got in that fight. I feel like that is taking away win equity from Joe. And then Jonathan, I'm actually really impressed with this season, like how he's turned his game around, but worried that socially people are annoyed with him. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Anybody's game right now.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. Well, thank you so much, Tina, for hopping on with us. This has been great.
Thanks for having me always.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Well, with that, we will see you all next week for more Survivor 50 coverage on the Tribe of Nerds.